Welcome back. This is Kotow and the second in a series termed Kotow's Officer Basic Course, designed to share some best practices for war rights for unit leaders and members. Our subject today is field artillery tasks. There is some debate regarding the utility of artillery within war rights, but for the purposes of this course, I assume that it can be effective. In fact, I would venture to guess that some of the conceptions for the ineffectiveness of artillery comes from a misapplication of field artillery tasks. There are four main tasks for field artillery within war rights. These tasks can be carried out whether on the offense or defense, across all the three main game modes, and whether conducting indirect or direct fires. Direct fires refer to having direct observation of the effect of your fires, or being able to watch what happens when you shoot your cannon. Indirect fires rely on targeting without direct observation, instead relying on other techniques such as observing casualty drops, changes in cap status, or communication with a forward observer to determine the results. The four field artillery tasks are: number 1, counter battery; number 2, general attrition; number 3, artillery support to infantry; number 4, infantry support to artillery. These tasks are not mutually exclusive, but there is a hierarchy associated within them. Properly assigning batteries by prioritizing and adjusting these tasks can help get the most out of artillery, impacting the results of an engagement. The first task is counter battery and should be the lowest priority. This task refers to disrupting the artillery of the enemy team, which first assumes that there is enemy artillery in the first place. In addition, it assumes that the enemy artillery can influence the battle itself, specifically by accomplishing one of the three other tasks discussed below. Artillery should select this task only if it is identified that the enemy artillery is actively impacting infantry, and should only assign the necessary batteries to sufficiently disrupt their engagement. No more. Once this task is accomplished, artillery crews should immediately move to another higher priority field artillery task. The amount of tickets that may be gained from eliminating crews is negligible, and unlikely to materially impact the ticket balance. If the only thing that artillery engages in for an entire battle is to exclusively shoot at each other, they may as well be playing on a separate server, as they completely cancel out their impact. Counter battery is the lowest level of our field artillery tasks, and battery commanders should consistently reevaluate when they can reasonably shift out of this task to the higher three. The second task is general attrition. This refers to engaging enemy infantry as targets of opportunity wherever they appear. The focus on this is merely on increasing the general attrition rate for the enemy without any larger operational goal in mind. This may assist in generally contributing to the ticket balance and requires little to no coordination with the infantry. This should be a default mode, but without any unity of effort, the overall impact will be minimal. Once more, while this should be a default task, commanders should seek to move up to the final two tasks and posture their guns to successfully execute those tasks. The third task is artillery support to infantry. This means coordinating directly with the infantry to shape the battlefield to enable the successful execution of an operation for the infantry. For example, when on the defense, this may mean targeting avenues of approach to assist the infantry in defending a certain sector. On the offense, this may mean shaping the battlefield to weaken or, ideally, push an enemy off of a position to allow the infantry to occupy it. This requires accurate gunnery and operational awareness for proper timing. By hitting the enemy at specific points at specific times to support an infantry action, this can give them the edge in an engagement, and if done consistently enough, tip the scales in a battle. This task represents one of the two most effective forms of artillery tasks, and should be aimed for by commanders so long as the tactical situation permits its execution. And final task is infantry support to artillery. Once more, this can be executed on either defense or offense, but switches the objective from the third task. While the focus of artillery support to infantry is on the seizure of key terrain, this task focuses on maximizing enemy casualties. However, unlike the second task of general attrition, this is carried out in conjunction with the infantry to maximize its effects. This requires using the infantry to draw and retain the enemy formations into predetermined kill zones from which artillery can have maximum effectiveness against it. Not only does this require coordination and requisite skill discussed in the third task, it also requires specific pre-planning to accomplish and is thus the most difficult of the four tasks to execute. However, if successful, it can completely disrupt an enemy force and allow for its rapid eradication. Like the third task, commanders should seek to employ this fourth task whenever possible. Each of the four tasks provides some utility on the battlefield, but commanders must discern when and where to employ them, in conjunction with the infantry, to maximize artillery's effectiveness. However, this is merely a starting point for the conversation. Are there other field artillery tasks that do not fit into these four categories? What did I miss? What did I get wrong? Can artillery positively impact battles and war rights at all? If so, what are the best ways you have seen? Let me know what you think in the comments, and thanks for watching.
My mind is a raging torrent, flooded with rivulets of thought, cascading into a waterfall of creative alternatives.
God darn it, Mr. Lamar. You use your tongue prettier than a $20 whore.